Stay tuned to find out what I pack for Dexter's summer road trip. I wanted to thank Golden Arrow Lakeside Resort in Lake Placid, New York for sponsoring our upcoming road trip. Dexter and I are super excited to be able to visit Golden Arrow Lakeside Resort in Lake Placid, New York. We're going to be taking Dexter's BFF Levi and his mom Chris. I hope you've been enjoying Dexter's and my adventures this year, and Levi and Chris have been going to a lot of them as well. I can't believe it's already June and we're halfway through our adventures for 2019. I did want to go over some of the things that I'm going to be packing for Dexter on this next trip. Since it is June, we are starting to get a little bit warmer weather. Here in Ohio, we actually had some crazy days of almost 90 degrees, so a little bit of a humidity. So it is time for us to start thinking about some things to help keep Dexter cool and safe and make sure that he's hydrated all the time, which is always important to keep them hydrated all the time and make sure that their temperatures are appropriate. So I wanted to go over some of the things for this trip. So I did look at the weather. We are staying in Lake Placid, New York at the Golden Arrow Lakeside Resort, and it looks like right now we're going to be in the 70s, maybe partly cloudy. It's only right now we are Sunday afternoon. This video will air on Wednesday and we leave on Friday. So we'll keep looking at that, and I might modify what I take, but likely not. I am taking Dexter's rain jacket. When we travel, we do tend to hit a little bit of rain here and there, so it's always nice to be prepared. Dexter's not a fan of the rain coming down on him, and this helps keep him dry and his coat dry too, so we don't have a big wet dog on our hands. Even though it is summer, I do take Dexter's boots with me because one, sometimes I never know where we're going to be walking, and sometimes the terrain is a little rough, or sometimes I'm not too comfortable. We might have some broken glass and things like that, and right now in the summer we have the heat as well, so I want to make sure that his feet are protected from hot asphalt or hot sand. So these always go with us. Whether or not I put them on Dexter just kind of depends on what we're doing, but I always make sure that I have them. Given it is going to be warm, Dexter doesn't tolerate heat very well. That's why you'll see that in July and August we don't actually have any planned trips, because I want to make sure that I can play that one by ear to make sure that if it's too hot, then we're just not going to go do anything. But he does have a cooling jacket, so this is something that I get to wet down first and then place it on him, and it helps draw that heat out and keep him nice and cool. So that's for his protection. When we travel, when Dexter goes into a new hotel or a new resort, the first thing that I always do before letting him in is I do put a little belly band on him that goes around his boy parts. That way, if he decides he wants to try to mark something new, that the belly band will catch it instead of the chair or anything like that. To date, right now, Dexter hasn't marked, but it's just that safety precaution. I feel much more comfortable knowing that it's on him for the first, 10-15 minutes. Once he's done his sniffing around the place, then it's home and I don't have anything to worry about it. The other thing with Dexter is he does have tail feathers and some butt feathers. He does actually have a nice trim right now. I did kind of give him a little bit of his puppy cut, so some of that is trimmed off, but sometimes his bottom can get dirty after a poo, so I do always have some natural wet wipes, and these are chemical and preservative free, so there's no harsh ingredients, which is actually really, really hard to find. So with all these products, I will put the link below to some of these products so that you can take a look if it's something that you're interested in as well. Dexter, one of the things that I recently was introduced to from 4-Legger, I love 4-Legger shampoo, as I'm sure you know, they sponsor a lot of my content, is they do have a revitalizing deodorant spray, all natural, no synthetics ever in 4-Legger products, but what this is if Dexter's starting to feel a little doggy smell, I do give him a bath before we go, but if he's starting to get that little kind of grunge, depending on what kind of woods we're in and what kind of terrain, I can spritz this down really quick and it just kind of freshens him up. And the one that I like the best is the orange, and it actually is a little bit of a pest deterrent too, so that's always good. And speaking of pests, I do bring different DIYs for ticks. If I'm repelling ticks naturally, we don't actually have a issue with fleas either. But ticks are an issue, especially right now. We've been finding ticks everywhere. I've been finding ticks on me. Once I started to really work on spraying Dexter every time we go out for a potty break, so far, knock on wood, we've been clear. And now I'm trying to make sure that I spray myself too. And the important thing about natural tick repellents is you want to make sure that you spray them before each outing. So I know it can be a little bit of a pain, but it only takes a couple of seconds to spray them down, watch their face. You want to make sure that you don't get it in their eyes. And then when I do come in, especially if it's been a big walk, not necessarily if I've just done a potty walk, but I do brush them and comb them and make sure that we don't have any runners as well. And I do that once a night whenever we travel too, just to make sure that there's nothing going on, because when we travel sometimes we do tend to be a little more woodsy than we are at home, so the likelihood of a tick is a little higher. So we will bring that, and I actually pack the tick spray in the side of the car door, so that every time we go out for a potty break, when we're at a rest stop, I spray him down again. So the other thing about Dexter is he can be a little goofy and a little cattywampus sometimes. So when we were actually on our Delaware trip, he ended up, I was taking a photo of something kind of in a park, and the next thing I know, he plopped his feet right into some really heavy-duty muck. I happened to have that spray with me, so I did kind of clean him up in the bath, but I didn't have shampoo with me. So this time, we're taking shampoo with us. Again, one of 4Lager's product. I'll probably use the orange neem to go along with the orange and to help repel ticks as well. Hydration, again, is super, super important. So I always travel with, I have two. This is actually the short one. The tall one is in the refrigerator right now with water, keeping it cold. But this is a stainless steel travel container for Dexter. I do use stainless steel or glass. I don't ever use plastic or aluminum. And it's really nice at keeping things cool or warm if you happen to do warm. And then it has a little sipper cup, so you can pour the water in there and let them have a sip. So there's no need for that extra bulky, you have to have something to drink out of as well. So this will go with me. Likely the larger one will go with me. Of course, poop, poop, poop. So we want to make sure that we're always picking up after our dogs. It drives me buggy every time I see poop when I'm out for a walk. You're at this nice hotel or a resort, and they have poop areas and poop stations for dogs. They have pickup bags, and what do you find? Dog poop. So again, if you're traveling with your dog or out and about with your dog, you have to pick up the poop, or we're going to have more and more places that say no dogs allowed, and I can't blame them. So poop bags, I always bring 1 roll per day, so that means I have at least 20 poop bags per day. So obviously there's no way Dexter's going to poop 20 times in a day, so I will not run out of poop bags. And they're in all kinds of pockets that I have, and they're in my car, so again, I've washed them plenty of times in my clothes too. No running out of poop bags. We want to also make sure that we have a first aid kit. So I just kind of put a first aid kit together for Dexter. So there's various things that I have in my first aid kit. One of the things for Dexter is I do have something for nausea, a flower essence. That way if he does get a little upset belly for anything, sometimes stress, although he's not very stressy, but sometimes stress can cause an upset belly. So I have that with him. I also have arnica with me, which helps with joint and inflammation, which for Dexter is really good, especially if we're doing a lot of walking, because he can get a little tired and a little achy, so I usually give him that too. You can make up your own first aid kit, or you can go online and purchase one. You can even add supplements to the one that you purchase too. Dog towels, you never know, again, what you're going to do, so I always carry a dog towel for Dexter. That way I can make sure that he's clean if he gets himself into trouble, dry him off without needing to use the resort hotel towels. I tend to actually have 2 with me. I tend to take one into the resort, and then I do keep one in my car too. That way I can quickly dry him off if there's something that he got into. Dexter is a huge fan of cooling mats. So we have, gosh, I think I have 4 of them right now. They're just placed in different areas throughout the house. He does gravitate towards them even in the winter. So I will put one of the cooling mats in Dexter's crate. He also, the other thing I take is his dog stroller. So I also put one in the dog stroller as well when it's warm to help keep him cool. And I don't usually bring it inside the hotel or the resort because usually the temperature is no problem there. Although to think about it, Dexter does like the cooling mat and he sleeps on it at home, so maybe I should start to do that. But the cooling mat is a nice way to help the dog stay cool, and it's just self-cooling, so you can feel it. If I feel it right now, it is cooler. They do tend to lose their coolness effect after a couple of years. That's another reason I tend to have so many, is I kind of buy new ones every couple of years. Not that they don't work, because again, he will still gravitate towards them, but they are cooler when you first get them before they start to get used. So those are just some of the things that I will pack for Dexter. I'm sure that there'll be more things as I start to pack. My phone isn't here to show you, but I do actually have a notepad app on my phone, and one of the categories is travel, and so I just keep an ongoing list of all the different things that I pack for Dexter and pack for myself, so that way I can click and check mark and make sure that I get everything, and then I can uncheck them at the end of the trip so that I still have the same list. And Dexter's looking around at all these goodies, which reminded me of one other thing that I did forget, is I do bring lots of snacks and treats for him for, you know, all those nice photo opportunities. So I will have lots of treats and his food as well, so his raw food. During big trips, sometimes I will purchase a pre-made dehydrated raw, where you just add warm water or cold water even, just to kind of rehydrate it. But during these long weekend trips, I just pack his raw food, and we do pack a cooler with ice so that I can keep the food nice and fresh. So hopefully you found this vlog a little helpful on some of the things that you might consider taking on a road trip with your dog, especially when it's warm. And we will see you next week. And remember to pause and enjoy life. Each Wednesday, I'll be uploading new content, so don't forget to hit the subscribe and click the bell.